December 13th, and what a night last night was. I'm sure everyone is in high spirits here this morning. A massive Leafs win, 6-0 on the Edgework show yesterday, bringing the season record to 121, 117, and 240 bets, a 7.2% ROI. I mean, pretty much a clean sweep yesterday, other than that one little tiny loss for $2.50 on the parlay that was somehow handed over to me. I don't know how that happened, but that will be addressed. We'll talk about last night's games, talk about the Leafs, talk about Craig Berube on today's show. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that today's show, as always, is sponsored by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, whether that's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. So download the app today. It is available in iOS, Android, as well as on the web. And if you are looking to sign up for a new sports book, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. The link is available in the description of the show as well. So if you sign up there, it does help support the show. We do appreciate that, as well as we do appreciate people hitting that like button, subscribing here to the show, to the channel. It does help support. Moretto, I'm going to you first. You got the weird acronyms going across the bottom. You can explain to everybody what's going on there and take us through a little bit of yesterday. What happened? What led to such a successful day? Other than the fact that it was you on the show, blah, blah, blah.
Is this a weird acronym? Does no one know what this is? I thought this was like a widely known.
Neither.
No one watch Moneyball or no? Nothing? No? Okay. It's
I love Moneyball, but I don't even remember
sign up and the Oakland fans are during their big win streak. No, nothing. We may never lose again.
I'm gonna search this up. No.
Yeah, you'll find the picture. But
okay, this is not an acronym though. Sorry, this is not an acronym. I've got a picture here. I'll pull it up for people, but it's just a sign that says we may never lose again. It's not like a WMNLA sign. Hold on. I'll get this up for people. Oh, wrong tab. There you go.
Yeah,
it just says we may never lose again.
All right, well, you got to acronym it then. You got to. It came from something. Someone had a sign at one point. It came from that. But look, I'm shortening everything. Then I don't know what else to say. I'm just trying to short form everything. We're trying to get things quicker so we can get bets locked in, more winners for the people. That's all it is. Jeremy wants to skip the Rangers game today. I apologize to you guys. We probably can't do that.
Will not.
I would like to see
I also would not mind.
I would love to.
I don't really think that's in the cards here.
But yeah, it was a good night on the ice. We had the three totals that were all pretty comfortably cashed. Two of them a plus money, which is nice. Russell came through with the Canucks and the Red Wings, which I was not a fan of that Red Wings play, but shows what I know. Russell's just banging out these sides. And then we both hit our double best bet on the San Jose Sharks, the Disgusting Brothers special. So, buzzing after that. Buzzing after that one. Would have been a perfect night if the Leafs could have lost 7-3 instead of 1-7-3. Tough.
Yeah. Also, let's just also clarify this loss here on the two teams on parlay, the -1.5. I don't know how that this got sewered onto me. In terms of this being an official play, Moretto told me I wasn't able to be here yesterday. Told me after that this was my special play, my ghost pick. This was not. This was thrown in the group chat in the morning as a joke while the plays for the day were getting sent in there. And knowing you and knowing Matt Russell, I was like, oh yeah, this screams like Hawks -1.5, Sharks -1.5 parlay day, because we've done that in the past and won actually. I was like, oh, there's the bet of the day, the flipped puck line.
The Disgusting Brothers parlay.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, this is what it screams. Little did I know this was going to be an official play on the show. So thanks, Jason.
Jason took it literally and was like, if we don't get to 50 likes, I'm not going to give out Zach's special parlay for the night.
Yeah, so absurd there.
Special parlay.
Absurd. I'll own it because I for sure. I for sure said that, but no, I'll own it. But yeah, for clarification purposes, I don't know how that one got jammed as an official play on that. All right, we got to discuss it. It has to happen before we get to the Berube talk. Matt, you were in the building last night. What went on with the Rangers? Like, I talked about it in the My Leafs post-game show. Jeremy was there, actually. Shout out Jeremy for being there. I appreciate that. But the Leafs obviously played well in that game. But this was not just a straight up like, oh, the Leafs played really well, the Rangers played really well, the Leafs took it to them and beat them. Like, the Rangers did not play that well last night. But take us through kind of what went down being in the building, seeing it firsthand.
I think it's kind of continuing a recent trend of the Rangers not really playing very well. I mean, you go back to kind of when they played Philly, Pittsburgh, and Boston, and they kind of looked like the best team in the entire league. Since then, outside of 1 to 2 games, they've been kind of mediocre at best. And obviously, like, it's no coincidence that kind of coincides with losing Kakko for a while. Like, Heedle's still out. Igor has not been very good as of late. Like, I know if you kind of talk to any Ranger fan, there are concerns over what he's been like since he's come back to play. They have not been playing well. Last night was definitely deserved. They actually got booed off the ice, I think, after the first period. But yeah, it was they played like crap, and that was a very deserved result.
I've just been sent something across the desk here. I don't know if you want to see this, but we're gonna pull it up anyways. Just a dagger from Moretto while we're live on air.
No,
quote tweeting today's link.
Tweets this. The guy's on air with us, and rather than just like make a comment, he's got to actually put this out in the Twitterverse. So.
After a casual 6-0 night on Tuesday, we're back for regression day with Alber. Wow.
I'd love to say that's probably not true, but I have no leg to stand on this year. So yeah, probably.
Oh my God. Gutless.
I'm just gonna start doing it. I'm just gonna start saying I'm on every side as him, so that at least if I go down, I take him down with me.
Oh man,
yeah, right.
My bankroll's gonna be depleted. We may never win again. I gotta change that acronym.
Moretto's going to be getting messages on Monday mornings now saying, hey, can you pay up? When can you yeah, Alber always catching strays. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of what happened with the Leafs Rangers game last night, it's good to be able to catch the over for Moretto there. I was kind of laughing as it was going in the first period. And like, obviously there was a tweet out from the Edgework account with the meme about Moretto being excited about catching the over and coming at the expense of the Leafs having won that one. Oh, I've been using that meme for everything. There's a billion uses for that. But yeah, it's like the Leafs played pretty well there. They came out in the first period actually ready, which is not something that they do. And at the same time, it was the perfect storm of like the Rangers did not come ready. Shesterkin did not look good early. And I don't know, it's going to be hard no matter who you are to climb back. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to say it. Climb back from a lead when you're down that early in like a first period of a game, especially
down what lead? What lead? What kind of lead?
Multi-goal lead.
A 4-1 lead? A 4-1?
Yeah. A multi-goal lead. That's what I'll say, and I'll leave it at that. But
this is shaping up. Well, that was like Leafs winning that game is just shaping up for an absolute banger on Columbus tomorrow, because the Leafs are going to come back home now
100%
and just lay an absolute egg. And I mean, that's just.
And I know that like we were talking about yesterday's what happened with the flipped -1.5s. This genuinely might be like a wait till game time, let all the money come in on Toronto, Columbus -1.5 at the best price available right before the game goes live. Like Thursday night, Toronto, quiet barn. Yeah, that's my preview of tomorrow's game.
Samsonov lets in 6 goals on 7 shots in the first period before getting pulled.
Yeah, exactly. I could see that 100%. But enough of last night's games. There was news that broke last night in St. Louis. Craig Berube out as the head coach of the St. Louis Blues. They've brought in interim head coach, specifically titled interim head coach. So looks like they'll probably try to make moves and bring someone new in for a full-time position there in St. Louis. But this Blues team to start the season, 13-14-1. truthfully, I don't really know what the expectations were as a St. Louis Blues fan or as the organization going into this season. It feels like they were probably a 500 hockey team or around 500 going into the year. They've been a 500 hockey team so far this season. And now Craig Berube is axed based on obviously results that have gone on here. Matt, what do you make of the Berube firing? Do you think that this made sense? Was this a little premature? Where are you kind of at in terms of the changing of guard there in St. Louis?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it with I don't really know what their expectations were if this is so bad that they were going to fire him, right? Like, I think if you kind of look at the markets of the preseason, they kind of had them in that 10th, 11th-ish spot in the West. And I think that's kind of what they are. I don't know if kind of internally, like, their expectations are higher because they do have a bit of an older team. Like, they do have a good amount of veterans on that team. If they're trying to kind of rebuild on the fly, they kind of expect to be in the playoffs this year. But I was certainly surprised to see it. Yeah, I don't really kind of know what they're expecting. Maybe they're kind of hoping they get the new coach bump here, and maybe they do. But yeah, I was definitely surprised to see it.
Yeah, because like, what are you thinking here? You're Edmonton. You're going, well, we got to turn this ship around. You've stunk so far to start this season, whether it was the right move or not. As you said, Matt, like the new coach bump, you're basically just kind of throwing a Hail Mary saying like something has to change. We can't make a drastic change. So this is the one. Minnesota is a team that was in the playoffs. You're going, okay, can we get back in there? We got to make a move. You're seeing a lull there. Dean Evison, you're gone. Kind of shocking, truthfully, that DJ Smith is still there in Ottawa. It seems like the players love him, but the results aren't there for him. That's a team you'd expect would be competing for a playoff spot, and they haven't done anything. And then St. Louis, where really had no expectations in terms of greater success beyond just being an average team, they say, all right, you're done. I don't know, Moretto, you see a possibility of Berube landing somewhere else within this season. You see them going out and acquiring someone big to come into this team, and then moving forward, is there any impact that that new coach could have on this team beyond them being slightly above average for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, no, this is like, if anything, the Blues have maybe like exceeded expectations just a little bit. But I mean,
Right.
market coming into the year this was going to be around a 500 team at best, and this is basically been a 500 team so far to start the year. The guy, brought them to the cup, like had one of the best turnarounds we've ever seen from a team that was dead last in the NHL. Brings them to win the cup. Like, I don't know, it's just a little bit a case of like maybe internally, like Matt said, that internal expectations were just a lot higher than what the reality was for this team. I think Berube is a great coach. I think Chief will land on his feet, no problem. And I don't know if it'll be this season, but like he will get another job without a doubt. Like that he'll be very high on the list of candidates who will be, look to be hired for any vacancies this offseason. So I'm sure a lot of these teams that are going to go into like next season looking for a new coach, he'll be right up there with guys like Evison to and Matt Russell would say it's the coaching carousel where nothing matters, but like I think
for 45 minutes on Wednesday.
Yeah, so I think he's actually he's quite a good coach, very good motivator. He understands the game very well, and I think he'll land at his feet no problem. I don't think he should have been fired. I mean, I don't think it matters that he was fired, to be fair, because I don't think it's going to change the trajectory of this Blues season anyways. This isn't like an Edmonton situation where like Woodcroft's a good coach, but like I guess in a way you could like rationalize it. Like, yeah, we need some sort of bump. Like St. Louis doesn't need a bump. This is just temper your expectations for what your team is capable of doing this year. So it is what it is. But it's not going to, it doesn't change anything really going forward this season for the Blues or for anyone for that matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Edmonton situation, I would kind of almost equate it to like when you pull your goalie in a situation where he's been in for some that aren't his fault, and you're yanking the guy, because then it sends a message to the rest of the bench, like, hey, wake the fuck up here, like, let's get things going. In Edmonton, you're going, hey, we've got pretty much the same team as last year, and regardless of if you think they could win a Stanley Cup or not as that team, you're sure as hell not the worst team in the league competing against San Jose at the bottom there. So let's dial this in here and someone do something. St. Louis, I don't know we've kind of touched on it as much as we possibly could, but it's just like you're not really sending a message to the team and saying, let's rally the troops here. Let's go win a Stanley Cup. You're not going to do that. You're probably still not going to make the playoffs. Maybe they're bringing a new guy in because they've been asking Berube to tank, and he just wouldn't do it. He's trying to inspire them, and they're like, all right, enough of this. Like, get the hell out of here. Macklin Celebrini, that's who we're trying to get this year. But interesting to watch that go down and see that news late last night as well. St. Louis just tried to sneak that in there while the late West Coast games were kind of concluding. But interesting.
I see in the comments too, though, just St. Louis power play only 8.4%, need a new coach. That's not typically on the head coach who's going to be coaching special teams. Usually it's your assistants in charge of that. And I'm almost positive in the case of St. Louis that it is not Berube as well, because so I mean, I don't think you blame Berube for the fact that their power play is struggling.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into today's games. We'll go through each of them, give out some best bets here. If people have questions, also GH said they were kidding. If people have questions about the games or anything that you guys are looking at, let us know here. We'll try to get to those throughout the course of the show as well. Artur also bringing up Alber versus Hitman. Choose your capper.
I thought he may need to get thrown in there too. I've seen their record on the season, so we kind of have a battle royale here to see who's the last one standing.
Yeah, this is the three-way Spider-Man meme. You guys across the different shows.
Don't let us get hot.
All right.
We're all going to play when we get hot. So
all three of you are going to get hot at the same time. Hell might freeze over at that point. All right. I'm just kidding, Matt. I'm just kidding. Positive vibes only.
Hot also constitutes like a 2-0 run, if we're being honest at this point.
I was going to say, like, I could come next week prepared with a lot of numbers that just kind of like make people laugh their ass off for 45 minutes, but we'll save the, I think, 13 bet losing streaks that I have for another show.
Matt's gonna like just have completely clean up on Monday Night Football and come on Wednesday, Moretto, and be like, boys, heater, like we are in one here. This is it.
Yeah. We're back.
All right, let's get into today's games. That's enough of that. Enough of preamble. I also 50 people liking. There's about a tenth. 20%, I guess, is the number there. 10 of 50 people, 20% of the people watching right now have hit the like button here on the stream today. So if you are watching, you haven't already, please hit the like button on the stream. Help support the show, help continue to grow it. Trying to get back to 2,000. You could have watched a live watch along last night with us watching these games. Maybe I could have had Alber on camera while the Rangers had a meltdown against the Leafs. That would have been an enjoyable one for people, but didn't get to 2,000 subscribers, so we couldn't do it. That's on you guys at the end of the day. You got to hit the like button, hit subscribe here on the channel. Let's get to today's games, and let's start in Montreal. Moretto, your Canadiens taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins and Kyle Dubas. The Habs currently sitting plus 134. You see the Penguins minus 149, and a total right now sitting at 6. What do you make of where this total and the game is lined at right now?
I think Slavkovsky is going to score 50 goals the rest of the season after that shootout winner the other night. So I don't know. Okay. He was catching strays after that winner. Be called Pierre Engvall by some people on Twitter.
He wishes he was Pierre Engvall.
That hurt. I do have a play in this game. I wanted to have 2 plays in this game. I came in all fired up to bet the Habs and the under, but the Habs they've taken money now this morning, and I'm not at a point where I would bet them anymore. I think if Pittsburgh takes money again at some point for whatever reason, and you can get like a plus 140 on the Habs, then I would play it. But best now is plus 134, and that's just like, a far cry from where it was 30 or 40 minutes ago. So I'm out on that. Thankfully, we still have the under in range, even though the under's been taking some money, which so I've been a part of that. I like the under quite a bit in this game. 6.5 should not be the total. Like getting minus 120 on that is a bit of a gift, I think. Plus money on 6 is fine too if you don't have access to those minus 120s at 6.5. I'd rather play the plus money at under 6 than the minus 125. But minus 120 at 6.5 is where I would lock it in here. So basically, like, the market is reacting to Nedeljkovic being in net. And there's obviously a drop off from Jari to Nedeljkovic, but that's mostly just because Jari's been insane this season. It's not because Nedeljkovic has been bad. Nedeljkovic has actually been very good. He's barely gotten, much action just because of how good Jari has been. But in his 5 starts, all 5 of them, like 4 of the 5 have been significantly above average. So he only had the one not great start, and it wasn't even a bad one against Dallas. He's been good by all accounts. Like, he's definitely rediscovered his game a little bit. And you're going up against the Habs offense that's not very good either. These are 2 teams that just aren't generating a ton right now. And when they are generating chances, they don't have quality finishers anymore. Like, that's just a reality. Pittsburgh, you look at their roster and you maybe wouldn't necessarily expect that, but like, these guys are just not quality scorers anymore. They need to generate a lot to actually convert some of these into goals. 2 of like the worst shooting percentage teams in the NHL, 2 anemic power plays, and 2 good goalies. I mean, that the market maybe doesn't view as great goalies, but like 2 guys that are very capable of stopping the puck. So yeah, this all sort of contributes to an under, and I like this one a fair bit.
Moretto, would you say this Penguins team kind of has a lot of high-end talent and maybe some missing depth?
I would say so. Very uncharacteristic of a Dubas team.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that being the case.
No.
Matt, I'm sure you're on the under 6.5 here as well, right?
I was going to say, just for that tweet earlier, as he was saying, you kind of saw me typing, and I had to lock it in. Just that's kind of some payback for that tweet.
Are we double best betting it right now?
But no, I agree. I know Moretto's been on a lot of Canadiens unders lately. I've certainly been on some of those as well. So yeah, definitely on the under, if anything here.
Okay, there you go. We'll take the under 6.5 minus 120 was pretty widely available there across multiple different sports books. So under 6.5 minus 120, first pick locked in the Penguins Habs game. Again, we'll recap all these at the very end of the show. So if you do miss something, don't worry about it, or you are a little confused about what's going on, we will get to all of those. But next up, let's look at the Boston Bruins on the road at the New Jersey Devils here. New Jersey hosting Boston is minus 120 right now. Boston plus 113. And again, another total of 6 here on a book like Pinnacle. You can find some 6.5s out there. Matt, what do you make of where this line is currently at right now?
So I really wanted to bet the Devils. I think, especially when you look at the Bruins, right? Like, McAvoy's out, Zacha's out. I think the speed advantage the Devils have here is just so incredibly massive. I kind of look at this, and to me, like, it feels similar to kind of last year when they were playing the Rangers in the playoffs. And even though, like, you kind of look at these teams in a vacuum, is this the right price? Like, should you be laying minus 120 on this Devils team? Probably not. But then you kind of look at the matchup, and I think they just might be able to skate around Boston here, to be honest. I think I'm looking more towards the under at this point than the Devils, especially kind of as you look at minus 125, minus 130. But I certainly would not be on the Bruins here. It'd certainly be Devils or nothing as far as the side goes. But I do like the under.
All right, Moretto, what are your thoughts on that? Anything pushed back on Matt on?
No. Me and Matt are very aligned these days, and I'm liking the under here as well. I didn't bet it yet. But like, I really do like this under. I think that obviously McAvoy being out is not conducive to an under, but like Zacha being out helps it. Boston's deep still on the blue line, right? Like, you can, and honestly, McAvoy helps his team a lot offensively too. So like, he helps the power play, he helps them at 5-on-5 and offensively. And I think that this is just you're gonna have Boston team that's gonna probably cater their game to the fact that they're missing Zacha and McAvoy. They're probably going to try and slow things down, play a bit more their style, try and like slug it out a little bit, not let the Devils play that run and gun sort of game. I know that's a little bit like narrative-y, but like, when you're just looking at this matchup overall, the Devils are very good at slowing things down like that. So again, that's also conducive to an under here. Getting the plus 105 at under 6, or getting the minus 120. There's a couple. I mean, honestly, the minus 120 at MGM there. Yeah, the MGM skins, Party Poker and stuff like that, I'll have minus 120 and that way there too. Let's lock that in as a best bet. And I'm probably gonna bet some of it right now too.
Well, there you go. Didn't take too much to convince you, Moretto. By the way, I think it was last week you had the last minute lock in the Oilers play. They won 4-1 that night. They ended up going 1-1 on the night. So talk yourself into it. Get ourselves a win there. And we'll talk ourselves into the under 6.5 -120 in the Devils Bruins game as the second official play of the night. We'll move
Betting
on.
stuff
3
live
more
on
games.
show has actually gone. It's gone pretty good for us this year.
Yeah, I mean, watching you in real time talk yourself into something has been pretty funny to watch, and then seeing the results the next day. 3 more games here, and the next one we'll go to is the Islanders hosting the Anaheim Ducks. The Islanders -195 right now, Anaheim +185. Anaheim has been pretty terrible coming into this game here over the last stretch. See a total. This one is a little bit all over the place. No line currently posted on BetStamp at Pinnacle right now. You see 5.5s. You see some 6s. Matt, what are your thoughts on this game right now? Is there any way at all you might want to back a team or a total in this one?
I don't know how you could possibly lay -220 with the Islanders, even against the Ducks. That said, I'm certainly not running to bet the Ducks. I think this is one that I was, and I think the under actually opened a little bit higher, so was maybe a little more interested when this was like, I think you had some cheaper 6.5s for a little bit. At this point, no, I'm total stay away here.
All right. And Moretto, anything at all here? Are we going to talk ourselves into one here?
No, we're talking ourselves into nothing here. This is a game I have no interest in betting and even less interest in watching, to be honest.
All right. Well, we'll not waste any more time there. We'll move on to the next one. Buffalo Sabres on the road at Colorado. Colorado -205. The Sabres +185 and a total of 6.5 right now. Coming off some interesting comments from Arturi Lekkonen's dad that Mikko Rantanen had to respond to the other day. Moretto, is there going to be any bit of juice under the legs of Rantanen going into this one that we might have to watch out for with the Avs?
What a weird situation, eh? It's like I know he says everything's fine between him and Lekkonen, but like I feel like that's got to be like a little bit like it's not like perfectly fine. I don't know. That's a little
you
bit,
think things are really comfortable between Tavares and Marner right now after the reaction of his dad?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Tavares never showed any emotion in his life, so I have no idea.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, this is again, like maybe talk myself into something, but like I would like to see some goalies, some goalie confirmations here as well. If we get any sort of weirdness from either of them, maybe I can be a little bit more talked into an over, but over is definitely like a stronger lean for me in this game. The Sabres, I talked about this like a while ago, how they were a team that was sort of a bit of an under team for me because like their defense was a lot better than advertised and they were playing more, tighter games and they were playing more low event games. That has kind of flown out the window now over the last month or so, and their defense has sort of dropped off a little bit, and we're seeing them give up a lot more chances. Goaltending is like, it's been decent, but like it's very hit and miss. And there's no consistency there. Avs obviously capable of scoring in bunches, but they've been solid defensively, and that's kind of a little bit where I'm just like, delay this juice at over 6.5. I'm just not like rushing to do it, but like that is like a strong lean for me.
All right, and Matt, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm about to talk him into that by saying, if anything, I like the under here, but we're not going to go down that road.
That's how you're talking me into it. That's if you lock in the under right now, I will lock in the over.
No, we know how that would go. But no, I to be honest, I have absolutely no interest in betting either side or total in this game.
Moretto just
Fair.
Instant fade.
You will never see a bet locked in quicker than one if I said I was going to take the opposite side of what he wanted here.
All right, final game of the night here. Gabe Vilardi returned to LA as the Winnipeg Jets travel out to LA to take on the Kings here. Kings -172, Winnipeg +160, seeing a total of 5.5 at Pinnacle right now. 6 is out there as well on some different books. Matt, what are your thoughts on this total and the Gabe Vilardi return to the Kings home ice?
I don't know if the market is quite adjusted to how much Kyle Connor means for the Jets. I think you kind of saw that yesterday, kind of with being on San Jose, and I don't know if it's there yet, right? Especially against like a really good LA Kings team. He just means so much to them. I think if anything, I'd take the under here because I think without him, especially, like I think they will have trouble kind of scoring some goals going forward. So I think this is a team I will look to play a lot of unders on. I don't know if this is the team in the spot to do it. Certainly kind of wait for goalies. I think we got Hellebuck. I believe we'll see Talbot again tonight. So I could maybe be talking to an under here, but I don't have anything on this as of right now. I am sad to see Connor go. I had a ticket on him to score the most goals in the division that looked very good. That one now goes out the window. But
the old Alber curse.
Yeah, I know. It's been a year. And Panarin doesn't really do anything anymore either. But yeah, no, I don't have anything at this moment. Saturday total.
Where are you at here, Moretto?
I do think the under is a decent look. Have not bet it again either, but yeah, if we get Talbot for sure, probably something I'll end up on. I also like, weirdly enough, like I think that it's a little bit off market, that penny line, but like I think it's like a tad short on the Kings. I don't think we're accounting for just how much Connor means. And like honestly, this last month, I talked about it yesterday, but this last month or so, they've been just brutal offensively. They've been able to generate nothing. Now you're taking away like their best scorer. I mean, it's just it's rough. And now you're going up against a Kings team that it just can suffocate you. And just it's so hard to produce against this team. You know, with how deep they are at center, I know like Dubois is getting a lot of hate for his production and whatnot this year. And, you know, I don't want to open that can of worms, but like you look at his line mates and I mean, you look at the role he's still playing, like that's a guy who's going to be pretty invaluable to this team come playoff time when you're able to trot him out on, you know, as a 3C. I mean, that's a luxury that most teams do not have. So yeah, they give up nothing. Like, and they're averaging about 2.1 goals against per 60 at 5-on-5 over the last month. Their season-long numbers are great too, and the Jets have been the worst offensive team in the NHL over the last month. So I think the Kings are the right side. The under is the right side. This has like 3-1, 4-0 sort of written all over it.
All right, there you go. Final game. We do have a couple picks locked in here for the shows today for the games for tonight. So recapping those two best bets. First and foremost, we're looking at the under 6.5 minus 120 in the Habs Penguins game there for a full unit. And then second, our final pick in the Bruins Devils game, we're also looking at the under 6.5 minus 120. So two totals for tonight, two under 6.5s, both coming in minus 120. One in the Bruins Devils game and one in the Habs Penguins game. That'll do it for today's best bets. In regards to other shows coming up across the hammer today, if you are looking for more picks, the Board NBA, they've moved to 9:45 a.m., so no longer coming in at 11:30. If you want to watch NBA picks, SGPs, player props, sides, totals, breakdowns, all that stuff, you got to go over to the board. You got to turn on notifications because they're going off earlier in the day, 9:45 before the Edgework show. And then coming up at 2 p.m., just like every day on the Forward Progress channel, 2 p.m. here on Wednesdays, we got some fill-ins. You guys are making jokes. Alber, Hitman. Well, you're not getting rid of Hitman today. He's staying for the show. But Cleve TA, Adam Chernoff in for Eric Eager and Suma on today's show over on Forward Progress. So joining Rob Pizzola there. Make sure to check that out. Coming up on Forward Progress. That'll do it for today's content across the hammer. And one final question here before we get out of here. RW Fan 23. What price are you looking to back Columbus against Toronto tomorrow? Neither of you guys are on the show. So final thoughts on that. What would you need Columbus against the Leafs tomorrow to be on it?
Anything with
just
the
plus? Just a Danny number?
Anything with the plus. Good Danny number. I think you're going to probably get like a 220, 225 for sure. I don't think it's, right now, like not many places have opened and there's like plus 200s out there. I think that once the market opens a bit more widely and, some money starts coming in, I don't think anyone in the market has been betting Columbus lately. Like Columbus is just not taking money on any night and the Leafs have been taking money fairly regularly.
Yeah.
So I think that, you can definitely wait to bet that, even regardless of where it opens. Honestly, I think I've talked myself into this as well on the show here, but I see that Copley did start the last game on Sunday, and he has not started back-to-back games at all this year. And like with the way Talbot's playing, he's only played 2 of the last 4 too. So like because of the back-to-backs, I feel confident that he's going to start tonight. I think that those plus 110s that are out there right now, I was just looking, there's some plus 110s out there on the under 5.5. Those will not be there for long. So I would lock those in. The plus 105, plus 104, fine too. I'm going to bet that the second we get off the show now. So if we want to lock that in.
This in as
let's lock it in. Yeah, let's do it. 3 unders. Just a hope for the most boring night of all time in hockey.
Grand Salami under tonight. That's why you stick to the end of the show. Third pick locked in.
Good call.
Under 5.5, plus 110 locked in our final game here of the LA Kings Winnipeg Jets. If you did enjoy the show today, please hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. Want to do some watch alongs, but that's on you guys for that to happen. You got to get us to 2,000. So if you're watching now, you're watching back after 2,000 subscribers. That's what we need. Do appreciate everyone for tuning in. Make sure to check out the other shows we have across the Hammer for the remainder of the day. Moretto, Matt, thank you guys for taking the time to do this here this morning. Appreciate it as always. Matt, sorry about the result last night, but at least Moretto got to cash his over, so I'm sure you're happy.
Yeah, whoa, that's giant. Like, wow, I'm so glad you got to do that. Wow. I was just about to get into the whole salami thing and talk about last week when I kind of played it, because I was on, I think, 5 home teams, and 2 of those teams blew 3-goal leads in the third period, and you lose the salami by 4. It's like, holy shit.
Oh, what a season you're having.
That was the day, like, well, it was great because it was one of those. It was like, all right, like we got a lot of coin flips out there, which is like every night you bet hockey at 9:00, right? It's like, oh, every game's tied. Pizzola tweets this every third week. It looks like it's every game's 2-2 in the third period, and I'm looking at it and going, all right, like the Isles are up 3 on the Sharks, like that's a good one there. I forget the other one offhand right now, but it was like, and then the Isles blow that lead in like 6 minutes to San Jose, and then the other one, whatever it was, blew it, and it's like, well, that's how it goes.
31.5 on Penny, the Grand Salami tonight. That's I'll definitely end up taking. I talked about this last week when you talked about the Grand. I was like, I've never actually really bet those in my life, and I wouldn't have bet it today if Zach didn't bring that up right there. So yeah, I might as well. I'll dabble.
Yeah, we don't need to go too deep into that, but that is something that I actually do play a decent amount if I'm on something like this, right, where I'm on like 3 unders. I think the one that would maybe keep me off it, well, I guess in your case, is like if I like the Colorado over, like I probably wouldn't play it at that point. But like, no, I agree. Like I still don't think the market realizes how much Kyle Connor means to this team. Like I think he was second in the league in goals when he went out. Like he is their offense. Like their power play goes through him. Like that top line goes through him. Like he is their offense. And I do think that they're really going to struggle to score without him.
Alber just says, I haven't really been winning any of these totals this year, so I'm just going to hit them all at once and go.
Well, you know what? Like, the thing with that is, rather than lose 3 bets in 3 units, you can just lose 1.
Yeah, fair enough. Risk mitigation.
That's definitely how that math goes, right?
Yes, yeah, that's how it works out. Well, thank you guys for doing this morning. Appreciate it. Thanks to everyone in the chat who showed up. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Myself, So Money, Rusty Bill, breaking down tomorrow's games, breaking down tomorrow's Leafs Columbus game. Maybe we'll have a Columbus bet. Who knows? You got to tune in to find out. Thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck on your bets.